What's up, guys? We're back with another RX8 video. Not really one that I wanted to get into, but here it is. So Aubrey made her video about doing the amp in her car and stuff like that, and we did her clutch and transmission, and then her car got totaled. So she's been on the hunt for the last year to find another blue RX8. Well, we found one with a quarter of the miles on it, and the engine smoked in it, and they took like the heater box out of the dash, and they got stickers all over this thing. So we got to pull some stickers. There's a few dents and scratches, but nothing like hers. I mean, she hit a deer, plastered the front end. It's over there. So I started tearing this thing down. So we're going to take two and make one, unfortunately. But I mean, in the same instance, her quarter was starting to go in hers. This is basically production date of 03. She was getting close to 200,000 miles on this, but the engine runs flawless, always has. What's funny is it was a reman 3 months after the car was made, so they flooded the thing at the dealer like they used to do and just replaced the engine. But I just about got it ripped out. I got to get the bell housing bolts out of it and get the fluids out. But she did get some things with this, like steel braided oil cooler lines and stuff. But this car was a little abused. I guess they originally blew the flywheel apart, and that's why all that's out. So yeah, it's got an AM intake, stuff like that they painted blue. It used to be red. Like I said, the steel braided lines, a header, test pipe, all that good stuff. I did get it to kind of pop and almost start. I think they whacked the firewall. You know, everybody thinks they know what they're doing and destroy things on these cars. But we're gonna tear right into this thing and get it done because I don't have a ton of time before I got a bunch of scheduled work coming. But we got to take the coilovers out of this, the Racing Beat exhaust. She's got some suspension components besides the coilovers, control arms and stuff, and a few other things. Like she's got a mint interior that came out of my drift car that had like 10,000 miles on it, so that's going to go in that other car. That one has 80,000 miles, so or 86,000. But they both have brand new clutches. They both have brand new flywheels. This one actually has a brand new transmission in it, which is funny because we did all that work to it, and then she smacked the deer and they totaled the car. You can see like a lot of this is all bent up, stuff like that. They broke the headlight. So if you break a headlight and bend any sort of things in front of these cars, the insurance company will total it and they will dick you around on it because they didn't give her anything for it either. Windshields broke, stuff like that. So let me set up. We'll get this engine out of here quick. We gotta get these fluids out first. So well, we got into it. It's been about 3 hours and the engine's out. Kind of messed around and wasted a bunch of time, but this one's out. The other one should come out a little bit easier as there's a little more room. I can't push this and pull it and hold on with the camera at the same time, but you can see we're clear out, obviously. So now I gotta get the other car in and repeat. I don't know if I'm going to start on it tonight. Probably not. But this thing's going to need to be cleaned up. We're going to try some of this new Castrol Super Clean I got here and see if we can clean this turd up because she is dirty. And I'm probably going to end up changing the oil pan on it. Not looking the healthiest. But overall, I mean, the engine's not too bad. There's the reman 4.1. The car was manufactured like 3 months before that, so that's cool. So this thing's got all of fucking, excuse me, beep, 180,000 miles on it. So let me get this yanked out of here and get it off the crane. I can't hold on the camera and do this, so give me just a second. So in normal fashion, got the other engine out here of the other car. We got a lot to do, and obviously the heater box was taken out and stuff like that, so we got to get in there. And they got a big hole right there, because apparently the old one, the flywheel exploded and went into there. So we got to pound that back down and close that up from the inside. They just put a piece of yellow aluminum over it with stinger screws. So we're going to fix that correctly. And started digging in to the inside of the car. Save us a lot of effort as they didn't put any screws back in and everything's just kind of dangling around in here. And then we got some sort of craziness going on here with this install. Apparently, these are the things to use instead of butt connectors. Yeah, and then a whole bunch of open wires that are just twisted together and stuff here. So this was all bound to fail. Anyways, so we're getting this dash out so we can fix that tunnel, and also the put heater back in the car, you know, that, and then we got to fix the cowl where they smashed it. But the engine failed. We tore it down and determined it was all user error. Destroyed one housing and rotor and 2 irons, and they had 3 bolts in the header and none in the bottom. They had the rear O2 sensor pulled out and just dangling. So, you know, these modern cars use the air fuel ratios from both the O2 sensors, so it didn't know what it was doing. And then also the vacuum caps are all destroyed on the back of the intake manifold. So we're running the car super lean. And then the biggest thing on all of it was the fact that, you know, you put the crank angle sensors on for your ignition timing and stuff, and you apparently just JB weld them on wherever you feel like. So this was a super low mile motor. Everything's super clean. Like the oil pump's brand new. Everything's brand new. So it was like 30,000 mile motor. But user error like normal. And yeah, you know, you don't do stuff like this on modern fuel injection cars, because then they just do what they want with their ignition tables and fueling maps. And then, you know, grenade things, you know, run them super lean, super rich, 20 degrees timing out, you know, stuff like that. And you end up with a smoked engine, like a new smoked engine. So that's cool. But then we got the other one all cleaned up. Use the Castrol Super Clean on it. All the oil's off. We just get a wire brush, some dust off. It cleans right up, as you can see. But not much effort. Spray it, let it set, come back. I would have liked to pressure wash it off along with it, but no water down here in the barn. So cleaned up good. So we're not going to be dumping that in right yet, because like I said, we got a lot to do on the interior of this car and fixing that tunnel so there's no hole in it, and we have heat. Well, so Aubrey has heat. I could care less if she froze, but we won't tell her that out loud twice. So we're going to be digging into this, and we'll be coming back and forth periodically with more messed up things, because apparently, you know, you do things half-assed and hope to God your car doesn't burn down. So it's actually a good thing that we're taking all this apart. It's actually a good thing that this engine blew up too, on second thought, because when you put an engine in, you usually put a pilot bearing in the back of the E-shaft for the transmission. So I got to check that transmission output shaft bearing and make sure it isn't walked around, because they didn't put a pilot bearing in the E-shaft for the input shaft of the transmission either. So that's always good, you know. You do things like that, because the hell with it, you don't need it. It's just there for looks. You know, they put it in the box and say, hey, suggested, not mandatory, I guess. So we're going to check the transmission. We also have to fix the power plant frame, because they use some unknown bolts and egg shaped them out, and the transmission was sitting down at an angle like 3 inches. So I couldn't even get in the back of the bell housing bolts. I was wondering why I was crazy and I couldn't get onto them with my wrench like normal. So we got to fix all that. We got to pull the exhaust off. And then we have to get these aluminum lug nuts off that are corroded on. These ones aren't that bad. Where's the bad ones? So, you know, instead of heating them up or hitting them or anything, you just snap them off. And a lot of these are crooked too, so they're cross-threaded on, because it's hard to start these by hand and get them on. So you just ram them on with an impact sideways. So good chance they're going to be drilling a lot of these fucking lug nuts off, or just pulling the entire spindle off in one unit and calling it a day, and throwing everything in the scrap pile because I'm sick of this shit. So we'll be back in a little bit with update here. So update so far, we got all this stuff out, and we're about this far. There's our hole that we got to fix, but we got to get this metal bar out and stuff, and so we can get the other heater box in. But besides the heater box, we also have to put all of the heater vents in because they threw all that away too. So now I got to get all these cut. We got to drop the steering column down, and we'll be clear on our way, and pull our wiring out of the way so we can get all that fixed, welded up, and then get the heater box back in, and cobwebs and mouse shit out of here. So besides the heater box, we got the blower motor. Everything's gone. Yeah, because why do you need that stuff in a street car? Everything is gone. Like everything's just zip tied and black taped to this. And the greatest part about this too is somebody crashed this car. They were gonna die. They didn't even have the airbag bolted in. It was just kind of sitting on the thing. So let us get this metal bar out and see how bad this actually is in there. All right, gotten quite a bit farther with this thing. Degreasing the center console. It's got some nasty stuff in it. There's the other one. Eventually, we're going to put this S2 dashboard in it. So we did a little weirdness on the inside. We just got to get the upper piece in the heater vents, and we can put this S2 dash in, and then upgrade the radio and stuff. So still got to put all this stuff in. Been dealing with running the harness back through. They lost all the brackets and stuff, so putting brackets back in, getting all this stuff up in there and tied in, and actually bolting this airbag in because it was not bolted in before. Got to get a new cover and filters for that. No big deal. But pretty much got it all back together for the most part, other than the radio and in the center console. And I've been cleaning the mouse shit out. Found an S2 emergency brake handle. So put that on. It's nice and leather instead of rubber. And this I'm going to pull out next. I found a random, actually found a short throw shifter in the trunk. So we're going to be putting that in as well. And for our firewall deal, I also started putting the front end back on, buffed out the headlights out of Aubrey's car, because these ones, I don't know, they look like they had tape or somebody clear coated them. I didn't feel like sanding forever. And got all these in. They were in by hand. Now they're actually in correctly and have the little rubber covers over them. Because when you don't have those, your floor will fill up with water. A lot of people don't know that. So now for the firewall, as I hold this hood prop and go crazy, started cleaning up the engine bay a little bit because, you know, the engine's not in here. So, but we got some corrosion from the battery to deal with here. We'll be relocating that in the trunk too. Little spot there. Subframe's not terrible. Like I said, this car's only got 80,000 miles on it. But I've got to get that down out of the firewall and pull that out. But pounded that down about 3 inches. I don't know how well you can see. Probably pretty good there. You can tell this tunnel took a pretty good hit when the eBay clutch, XTD clutch, decided to leave the chat. So we got to seam seal that up. Never really going to see that. I was going to weld it, but I was like, there's really no point. Seam seal will fix it fine. And address the leaking master. It's amazing a lot of these cars get like that. I think it's more from sitting than anything. But the other thing too, we got all the stupid stickers off the car. And this Exetti one was terrible. And there was a Hunt Company one on the other side. But they peeled off the B-pillar vinyl, which kind of looks dumb with that gone. So I'll be re-vinyl wrapping that here shortly just to take care of that. And then the other major thing that I've got to do before I stick the engine in is swap the door out from her car. I don't know what they hit. This is actually the fender from her car too. But the rocker's all smashed up in. I don't know how well you can see from this side. So I'm going to be pulling that out because this is up. So I got to get that down before I put the other door on. And I'm not going to mess with this door because it's all haggard. And then I got to pull out the spot under the fender and pull that out, switch these out. So we're moving right along, and then get her lip on, unless we decide to go with another lip here. And then, like I said, the aluminum lug nuts, I got to drill that one, so that's going to be fun. And then we have no wheel liners or anything like that, so we got to take care of that, address that. And this car smells like somebody died in it. So let me get the move on. I'm going to get these pillars done and then finish putting the interior in, a short throw shifter in. And then we're going to get back to finishing cleaning up her engine and probably wire brush it down and stuff. I'll pull the intake manifold gasket off, clean all the carbon out of the intake, and go from there. I got to change the oil pan, so I don't know. I might dress it up a little bit, might not. Comes down to what she decides to order for this thing. But yeah, we got a giant mess in here. And I got to get back to the Porsche, and I've got a bunch of cars coming. So that's probably going to come out of here. And yeah, so let me get back to this instead of rambling on. But yeah, as you can see, we got our HVAC back in. So now I got to put in some of these lines for the AC. They at least left this one, so I'm going to put new O-rings on it and stuff. So this car will have AC again. Yeah, so I'll be right back. All right, I got the stupid lug nut off. So that's what victory looks like. Yeah, that actually drilled pretty easy. Aluminum lug nuts make life a little easy. Got it drilled down to enough, and then just took the chisel, pounded it into it, spun it with the vice grips once I got it out. So there's that. That's one less headache to deal with, which is awesome. So moving on. Well, many days later, it stopped raining for once, and it's not 30 degrees out, but we're gonna get this all sprayed out now. It's all greasy and nasty, real bad, as you can see. So we're gonna keep going with some of this Castrol Super Clean we got here and see how it does. So we're just gonna hose everything down. It's just a spray bottle. We got the cross member here, all this stuff. Soak it down, and then we're gonna hit it with the pressure washer and see where we're at. We'll even get this wire harness because it's nasty too. We'll just spray everything. Why not? It's hard to film and do this stuff. So we'll let that sit a minute and we'll pressure wash the shit out of it. There we go. All right, so we're gonna fire up this here pressure washer. Probably not, because it's Ryobi. Looks like it did a pretty good job getting 99% of this out of here, only letting it sit for like 3 minutes. So now we're gonna get it in, get this engine in this car. It's been long overdue for the last 3 weeks. So let us get this thing inside. We gotta roll it down there now, manpower, and get this done. So let us get to it. Well, in normal fashion, we didn't film, and I got 90% of this car together. We got to do the battery relocation in the trunk, and I'll actually go through that for some of you guys because we haven't really went over it. We're going to rewire this front harness. The studs are broke off in that. I got a bunch to do on this still. I got to fix the power plant frame because they put the wrong bolts in it and it shifted down. So the engine's actually tilted back a little bit. So we're going to get those off the other car. We got to get a bunch of stuff off the other car, like the fuel pump resistor and stuff like that. And then the other AM intake. This one's all trashed either way. But we'll go over that, the power plant frame, and the short throw shifter, which I haven't put in yet. But we'll do that when we do the power plant frame, so we raise the transmission back up since it's dangling down a little bit. But it's kind of been a mad dash because Aubrey's been wanting to get her car going for a while. So instead of filming, like I said, just started slamming this thing together to get it done. I got to fix these oil cooler lines. Actually, I'm going to go over that with you guys because a lot of these guys put them on wrong. Like you've got that return on the thermostat side, which it should be on the other side, but we'll get into that more tomorrow. It's getting late now. It's like midnight, but got it in the car about 80% together with what we got, and start fixing these oil cooler lines around and do some vacuum lines here for the solenoids for the SSV valve and stuff. So we'll get back to it tomorrow. For right now, we're just hammering this thing out. So till then. All right, it's the next day. I said I'd go over these oil cooler lines as these were all backwards and I fixed them. All right, so this rear line, you're gonna route around, over, and it actually goes to, I can't get a good angle at this. It goes to this side of the thermostat, all right? And then the other one is gonna go from here on the outside of the thermostat to the inside of the thermostat on the driver's side. And then the one that comes off the front of the engine goes to the outside of the thermostat. So they had these backwards and these backwards, which then is just going to bypass the thermostat and cook your oil. I mean, it'll eventually flow through it, but that's the way they're supposed to be. So just like I said, for general anybody that's doing these lines, your back goes, your back outlet on the engine block goes to the thermostat side on the passenger side, and then your outside of the thermostat runs over to the driver's side and to this side of the thermostat, and then your engine front on the far side of the thermostat. So now that we've gotten that straightened out, so I'm gonna finish buttoning more of this up, get the oil filter housing and the upper intake manifold on, as I have everything else. I got to do a ground on that side of the engine, and then we got to run a cable through this car to put the battery in the trunk. So let me get to it. All right, got the engine in her car and all running after the oil cooler lines and stuff. And check engine light, ABS popped on instantly. No communication with the ABS module. Well, if you guys could smell, this is horrific. There's the ABS unit. I was just going to swap out the end, which you normally can. But yeah, this is what happens when you leave the hood off the car for an extended period of time and water gets in your ABS module. So I got to change this whole unit now. And the dog comes in from the neighbors and spooks me. That's awesome. So yeah, This normally these are just all like pull off with this, not today. So I'm gonna go pull an entire ABS unit now. That's awesome. More work and then bleeding the brakes and all that good stuff. But yeah, if you get no communication with the ABS module, usually you just change this out. But apparently this is going to turn into a little bit more than just changing it out. So awesome. All right, got the ABS module in. I did end up cleaning everything off and got everything off and just swapped the front part from another car and back. Now, remember, when swapping them, you have to program them to the car. You can do it with Ford Scan. Same thing with programming keys with these cars is Ford Scan. But we got a bunch of other issues with this thing. I'm reading the ECU right now with Mazda Edit because I have to take care of a few other things with it. But we also have airbag codes in this thing and a bunch of other ones like the air pump and evap and SSV valve solenoids, which that's awesome because if I'd known, I would have just used her deal because hers were good, but just grabbed the first oil pedestal or oil fill neck that I found, and apparently the solenoid's bad on it, so that's got to get tore apart and swapped. Reading this right now with Mazda Edit, so I can take care of a few other things, but we're also going to get to that short throw shifter shortly here. But I got to dig into this thing, ECU a little bit. Like I said, program some stuff to it and stuff like that. And then we also got to get the exhaust off of her car and onto this thing. I don't know what they did. There's like 10 clamps holding on the up pipe, and it's destroyed my floor already and everything else. And then we'll get this battery mounted back here properly. And actually, for anybody doing battery relocation, I'll go over that a little bit. You can modify the original positive terminal to fit right in your box and then run the wires up. These I've got to shorten and stuff like that. That's your starter signal wire, AC and stuff like that. But they can all get shortened up. And the same thing with some of this power steering stuff. But let me dig into this ECU. We'll go over that short throw shifter, and we will get into the airbag system and stuff like that. I know it's side curtain airbags, driver, passenger. The one in the dash are all short circuit. So we got to figure out what's going on with that. The airbags are in the car. I don't know if he just unplugged them or what, but yeah, we're going to have to tear into that, unfortunately. That's one thing with going with somebody's wrecked junk. Well, this car wasn't wrecked, but I mean, the shit through the firewall and stuff from the flywheel. But yeah, let's get into it and we'll keep moving on here. All right, I said we get into the short throw shifter on this thing. So basically to remove this, you just pull up on this, pop this off, and then you take the 2 screws out of the ashtray, pull the ashtray out, and then there's this cover, and you take your 4 10mm bolts off of that, pull that off, and then there's another rubber cover, you pull that off of here, and then it's as simple as zipping these out. I'm going to drop them, maybe not, doing this one hand, so we try and show everybody. That one's gone, and no big deal since I have so much extra hardware, it's not even funny at this point. I have to fix this power plant frame from this idiot as well still. So basically you just pull it out, as simple as that. And then I got to find this piece that you got to take off and put it on this. And then it's as simple as slide back in, roll your 3 bolts back in, and then put it all back together. So there you go. Pretty easy on that. All right, got a bunch done off camera. It's running right now, as you can see. Got the exhaust on, her racing beat. I got to tighten up 1 bolt underneath. Started putting the rims on, and got the interior all back together. So I was talking, I had SSV valve short, heater short, all that good stuff. So just so you know, if you get a SSV short, if it's bad enough, it will take your rear O2 sensor and short that as well too. Change that out. Both of those are clear. So now I've been working on the rest of the stuff. These are restraints. I got to look them up. I believe it's a passenger and driver side pillar, and then one of the other ones, basically side impact airbags, short to ground. The anti-lock brake is fixed. That's just the steering angle sensor, which as soon as I start driving, that'll shut off. But like I said, it's running now, and I got a lot of stuff to swap over from the other one. We pulled it in, got the interior all back together, cleaned. It was all mildew, mouse shit, all that stuff from sitting. And yeah, so basically all we have is an airbag like right now, and the door open and seatbelt. So sounds good. Radio's in, all that's fixed. I got all that fixed underneath. No dangling wires anymore. As I said, short throw shifter. It's nice and short. With her shift knob by Rodak Garage. Yeah, it wants some antifreeze, but that's no big deal. We can put some of that in. And stop making some noise here. So we're moving right along now, other than figuring out these airbags and then swapping the rest of her parts over. So pretty much the car's all together, other than I wasn't going to put the trunk pieces back in yet because we got to swap the coil over. She's got teens and that. And got to push some push clips in the muffler, or yeah, the shrouds on the bumper. Swap the little side skirt thingies over, and swap the door still. And then we're just going to completely strip this car down and send it at this point. Pull the rims and subframes out and stuff like that. So anyways, this has kind of been a little bit of a long video with her car, but like I said, take two cars and make one again. We definitely have one again, and got a few small things to do, but she'll be back on the road here shortly. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and yeah, give Castrol Super Clean out try out. It seemed to work good for us. We used it to clean all the interior, everything, because it actually dissolves the mouse crap up pretty good and quick. So yeah, like and subscribe, and we'll get more stuff done here soon. We're going to get the lip from my drift car on this, and maybe the side skirts if we don't want to do the other ones. But we definitely got to finish tearing this down and get it out of here. And not really time to film because I'm trying to get a bunch of junk out of here. So yeah, there we go. Thanks, guys.